Okay, I'm going to talk about the solar eclipse that's going to happen next week, or in 2 weeks, I'm sorry, on 2/17, February 17th of 2026. Um, this is a pretty significant solar eclipse because it is going to be kickstarting a lot of the Uranian energy that's going to be in play this year, starting in about April. So what I've done here on the left-hand side, you'll see where the planets actually are, with Aries being in the first house, so you can get a sense of where everything is. The solar eclipse is going to happen here when the sun and moon are conjunct at about 28 degrees, 27, 28 degrees Aquarius, and they're forming a square. You follow this line over here to Uranus, which is finally going direct and starting to leave Taurus, moving into that eventual position of Gemini, which is an air sign. What's significant is that Aquarius and Gemini are both air signs. So I've talked before about how this coming year, everything's moving into air and fire. So this is sort of the air ignition switch, as it would be. This solar eclipse. Solar eclipses are oftentimes a more powerful magnification of new moon energies, where new beginnings are kick-started, and they will last until another solar eclipse happens in similar signs, which I believe in another post I had put in there, it was going to be about February of 27 before we have our next one. So you can see why I'm calling this the igniter switch. It is the beginning of really kicking off this energy before Uranus moves into Gemini. And oh, by the way, Uranus also rules Aquarius. So Uranian energy is just as it sounds. It is explosive. It will ignite. It's what they use in power plants. It's very powerful energy. And so it's forming a square in the sky. Aquarius is basically our sense of individuality, our sense of uniqueness. It includes those people who are sometimes on the fringe of society, um, and it's all about coming together under one banner. Okay, about allowing live and let live sort of mentality. But what it does is, before you get to the live and let live, the Uranian energy, the lightning bolt energy, electromagnetic energy, basically ignites our passion to make changes so that we can live in a better situation. So with this energy squaring Uranus, it's like you've got a double amplification of that Uranian energy. So with this solar eclipse that's happening on February 17th, there is no telling what might just get set off. And it generally, that kind of energy, you don't see it coming. It's a sudden jolt. It's also a push for people to be their authentic selves and to not hide, whereas previously they may feel the need to be in the shadows. That energy sort of goes away when all this Uranian energy is present. And you'll even see here on this chart, there's a lot of planets in Aquarius. Now, they may not be conjuncting, meaning merged between the sun and the moon here, but that's a lot of Uranian energy. And to square this Uranus planet here, that's pretty significant. It's also, if you take it from the standpoint of Aries being the starting point, this is in personal aspects. This is in your personal belongings, your personal possessions, and this is in the world that we live in with others. So there could very well be some clashes that involve those two different streams of energy, those two different aspects. Now, what's also interesting here is if we go to the right chart, what I've shown is that for those people who are born between 8/19 and 21, which makes them like a 28-degree Leo, or those people born between 11/19 and 11/21, which makes them a 28-degree Scorpio, that would put anybody with either planets that are at that degree, could be any planet at that degree if you happen to know your own chart. If you don't know your own chart and you're just looking at the sun sign, then you look at these born between dates to see if you're going to be a little bit more personally impacted by this solar eclipse than just the unified field where I talked on the left about society in general. So I personally have both planets. I have a planet at 28 degrees Leo, and I have a planet at 28 degrees Scorpio. So I'm going to have a really fun ride with this particular eclipse. I'm looking for a lot of changes. It's going to be very, very interesting. But just know that if you have a sun sign between 11/19 and 21, or between 8/19 and 21, you're probably going to be impacted a little bit more personally uh, than most people will be. So be aware of that. Be on the lookout. This has to do with how we show up in the collective. This is your personal possessions. This is your creativity in this house here. And this is shared resources. So again, depending upon when you're born, you may have more of an impact than others. Just as I always say, be conscious of your environment. Be aware of your surroundings. And this is going to be a time where people are going to be kickstarted to decide what do you want your world to look like for you personally and as a collective whole. And so it's going to be sort of a call to action, so to speak, that's going to be gearing up more and more and more as we move from February then to April, when Uranus goes into Gemini, and then in July when we have a whole bunch of stuff going. Basically, all the planets are going in a direct fashion. All of them have moved signs. All of the major planets are in fire and air. And officially at that point, if you've heard of the fire horse is going to be galloping come around July of this year. The stable hasn't been opened yet, to use an analogy. This eclipse is going to be opening the door to the stable so the horse can start to make its way out, if that makes sense. So, be conscious, be thoughtful, and be kind. Peace out to the next update.